From the snowy mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault, grab a great book from We Read the Night, join the Space Travelers for $5 a month, and Captain Shirk has you all up to date on the SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by donating to Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. It's the return of Merle tonight on Ghosts of the Great White North, as Merle Morin, fresh off the injured list, which caused him to miss his last show, is back and more Merle than ever. Tonight we are joined by Merle's teammate with Haunted Crew of Canada, Jeff Webster, along with Olav Phillips of Paranoia Magazine. We're getting into a few topics of sorts, from Merle wondering about the direction of the paranormal to a strange event Olav and I are going through as we speak. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Olav Phillips, Mike Morin, otherwise known as Merle around these parts, and Jeff Webster, welcome to Ghosts of the Great White North.
Good day.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
All right, greetings and salutations. I love that. I want to start off with Mike here, because Mike, right before the last show that we were going to be doing of Ghosts of the Great White North, you had a little bit of an incident that, we kind of filled the audience in on, but I know that it's been a little bit troublesome, and we've all been kind of worried about you. Why don't you take the time to fill in our audience here and the people who absolutely love you around here about what happened?
Sure. So, last episode of Ghosts of the Great White North, I was getting ready to do what we do, and I had made myself a tea. And clearly my kettle was broken, and I didn't realize how hot it was, because usually my kettle will turn off. Put my tea down on my little desk, and short story is I knocked it, and it all this hot water spilled all over my thighs, my stomach, my calves. And I suffered 3rd and borderline 4th degree burns, so I had to go to the hospital that night, and been off work since, and I just went back to work this past week. Probably the worst pain I've ever experienced in my life.
Well, I'm glad you're doing okay, man, because, that was a pretty scary incident, because I know you called me up right before we were going to go on air, like within a minute or two of going on air, and I could hear you holding back the tears, man, saying, dude, like, I got to go to the hospital, I got to go, and I'm sorry, and you felt really bad about it, but we were able to pull off a show. But the main thing is you're okay, and that's all that really matters. So, thank you for being okay, man, because we were really worried about you.
No worries. I was more, it's funny, when I was in the hospital, I was so concerned to come back on air before the show was over, because that was a stacked lineup that we got last month, and I was really looking forward to talking to them all.
Yeah, you missed a good show, if you wouldn't have bailed on us. That's just the way it goes. Hockey players would have gone back out on the ice, but I digress. But, you're Merle, and, we're not going to let you live it down too much.
The coach wouldn't let me. I tried. Coach wouldn't let me.
Well, sometimes you gotta tell the coach that it doesn't matter what he thinks, and just go in, hit that lineup. That's what hockey players do.
Take a page out of the Rock. I get it.
Yeah. You hear the Rock's dad passed away today?
I heard that.
That's pretty bad. Dwayne Johnson's father, 75 years old, Rocky Johnson, good Canadian guy, born in Nova Scotia, born and raised in Nova Scotia. So that makes the Rock half Canadian. So rest in peace, Rocky Johnson. But, Merle, the big thing is with you that you are healthy, you're back to work, you're getting everything going and kind of as best you can back to normal as we speak. For people who have never gone through that, I've never gone through that. You mentioned that it's some of the worst pain you've ever gone through in your life, and we wouldn't wish that on anybody. But you're okay? Everything is fine now?
I'm fantastic. Back to regular duties, no bandages, no skin graft. The big drama in my life was I thought I needed a skin graft on my calves. However, I do not. So we're good. I'm happy. You're happy. We're happy.
No, that's good. That's really good. I'm glad to hear that, and I'm glad that we got an update for our audience because they were pretty concerned about you as well, my friends. So that's very, very good for all of us to hear here on Spaced Out Radio. Jeff, we haven't had you on in a long time. How you been doing? How are you battling the cold and the winters of Edmonton, Alberta, where you're located?
I've been doing fairly good. This past week has been pretty tough, been very, very cold. And in my line of work, I'm outside all the time. So minus 38, feeling like minus 46 is pretty darn cold, I'm not going to lie.
What's that in American temperature?
Roughly...
It's about minus 38 Fahrenheit to minus 40 Fahrenheit. That's cold. That's
cold.
It is
very cold.
And Olav Phillips, we got you back. We had you on just a couple of weeks ago talking about synchronicities,
yes,
but we're going to tell a little bit of a story tonight, later on, about something strange that has occurred with you and I, and it involves Alan Greenfield.
Yes, and the mystical number 93.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to get into that. Now, one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight, and usually we have, some sort of paranormal guest tonight, but last week I was talking to Merle about the direction of the paranormal. And many paranormal investigators, if you know a numerous people like that, a lot of them enjoy going out on the weekends. They enjoy going to a haunted place, whether it's a building, a restaurant, a residence, a cemetery, wherever it may be. All right. And for a large portion of the paranormal crew, and I would throw myself into that, we're weekend warriors. We're not doing this to solve anything. We're not doing this to try and gather information that's going to break open some major scientific investigation. We're not doing it for that. We're doing it for a lot of thrill. We're doing it for a lot of knowledge to try and see what we get, because it's kind of cool when you get reactions to what is going on away from what is supposed to be normal, whether it's EVPs, whether it's photos or video evidence, any type of sound evidence. It's really cool when things happen that you cannot explain. However, every time you do this, you learn more and you want a little bit more. And you may be satisfied with just going out on every odd weekend or at once a weekend, once a month, once every couple of months. But for those like Mike who are out there wanting to try and solve some of these mysteries, wanting to try and solve what is going on, the thrill of the investigation is always there, but you want more. Mike, Merle, what do you mean by when in our conversation that you and I had that there are times where you just want more?
In regards to investigating or evidence, to me, when I say I want more, is I want to solve an issue. I want to be able to go into a house, a barn, a toilet, wherever there's a ghost. And I want to know why that ghost is there. I want to know what it wants. Is there anything we can do to help it? And have a resolution. I wouldn't consider myself a weekend warrior because I always put the client first. If I can't help you, I'm going to find somebody that can. Now, there's a lot of teams out there that just like to go get the cool sounding EVPs or see things move and whatnot, which I disagree with, and I get bored with that. I love the investigation. It's fun when you're there, but it's the after part where people kind of trip, where it's going back again to investigate, reinvestigate, or call the client on a weekly basis to see if things have changed, because a lot of times they don't. You need to sometimes hit a location 3 or 4 times by like doing the investigation, sifting through your evidence, by saging. If that's your belief, if a lot of people where I live, they believe strongly in saging an area and to ward off or cleanse your house of spirits or energy and whatnot. Sometimes that doesn't help the first time. It's a Band-Aid. So it's like when you take an antibiotic. You take one, you're not cured. You still have your infection. So you got to go through that whole bottle of antibiotics till your infection is gone. It's the same thing with the paranormal and helping people.
Jeff, what's your thoughts on that?
I agree with Mike. When you're dealing with something, we've actually been to a residence 4 times now, and on the 4th time, things finally settled down. And it was just constant going back, having them keep a journal of everything that was happening. And we just kept going back and back and back until we felt that we finally had come to some sort of agreement with the client that things have gotten a lot better. They can now live in peace in their own house. For me personally, I love hitting the places and getting the evidence, but also being able to present it to your client. I think that's a big one that a lot of teams miss out on for possibly selfish reasons. I just feel like that is the main goal. You're being invited into their place. So for me, that's the main part of it is actually coming to a resolution for the client.
But is it about the client anymore, Olav? All right, we have 2 experienced ghost hunters here who are, very good at what they do. Very good at what they do. And apparently Olav cannot hear us. All right, what happened here to Olav? Did we lose him? We may have lost Olav. Let me just try and add him back here. No, we definitely lost him. Give me 2 seconds here, and we'll get Olav back here. And then I will ask him this question while we're waiting. All right, there he is. Olav, can you hear us now?
I can hear you now.
All right, perfect. For
that was
some
weird.
Reason, the call dropped. It's that spacey phone that you have. It's, the Arcturians or somebody like that trying to knock us off. But in listening to what Jeff and Merle were saying, Olav, these are 2 experienced ghost hunters. They like helping clients. They like helping people in their paranormal issues and problems that they have, whether it's at a place of work or a place of residence. But is that where ghost hunting is going? Or are we at the precipice of saying that's now old school and we now have to learn to take this to a different level?
I think it's a personal thing. I think that there's 2 different sets of people. There are people who, want to engage clients. They help people out. They go into the houses. They try to understand why the house is haunted. For me, it's more experiential. When I do it, in fact, I'm going to a haunted hotel on Friday, just to stay there. And for me, I want to experience it. I want to get the proof. I want to hear the voices. I want to catch the EVPs. I don't know that I'm necessarily going to solve the mystery, but for me, I want to experience it and to acquire evidence of it to show others that these things are real. And, part of that is somebody comes across on an EVP and you listen and they tell you who they are, and then you go back and you try to validate it and to prove that the place is haunted. So I'm not a ghost hunter in that aspect. I'm more of I want to experience the phenomenon attempt to document the phenomenon versus trying to solve the phenomenon.
But I guess
so I think
that's
it's
part
two
of
different things.
Yeah, and I guess that's part of the big thing right now is, both Mike and Jeff have a love for this. They have a love for ghost hunting. They have a love and a passion for finding out what is going on in the world right now, especially in the paranormal world. But at some point, is it about the evidence? Olav, I'm curious to get your opinion from an outsider. Does the evidence matter if we're not doing anything with it, so to speak?
No, I don't. I don't think it does. I think if you have the evidence, you use that to push forward. I think that when you talk about being on the edge and being on the precipice, I think it's more in that aspect. It's more like, okay, guys, we've shown you enough evidence. We've proven that these things have happened. We've validated them. When are we going to get around to serious, scientific study of it? And I have no doubt that you guys, do the scientific element of it, but that's not what I meant. I meant more like the hard science deniers of the 14, when are they going to come around one of these days and say, well, okay, maybe there is, maybe some guy from Harvard or Johns Hopkins, and there have been those people. Rarely they happen, but when are the hard scientists going to come around and say, okay, now we need to look at this, something is happening. What's the physics behind it? What's the, electrical engineering of it? How does it happen, et cetera? But without evidence, you can't prove it to anybody. And if you can't prove it, then people are very leery to believe you. I mean, the same thing happens in UFOs, right? You can make the same argument about anything that's Fortean in nature. Cryptids, UFOs, vortexes. If you can't see it and you can't demonstrate it and you can't reproduce it, then people they always just say, well, as you guys put it, it's a little bit of woo, and I don't know that I'm going to go there. So I do think the evidence is critical, but I also think that the people like the other guys on the phone that go in there and they're helping people and they're saying, okay, let's understand why your house is haunted. Let's try to unhaunt your house if that's what you want. I think that that's urgently needed. So throw what
Mike,
you make of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, why do you ghost hunt?
A couple of reasons. The research of the unknown. I'm an investigator by nature. I need and like to know why and how. And I find the paranormal field, especially for me, like my forte of ghost hunting, or I don't know why, because you can't see it a lot of the times, right? And you can only hear it on your playback. So yeah, I do it for helping people, but I also do it like he was saying, for the research, the documentation. This field's always evolving. There's always new things. There's always new techniques, and it's because there are a lot of teams out there, like our team, other teams, that are just out in the field hammering it and acquiring research. And I find myself, I will talk to other teams and get information on how they investigate what they're doing differently, and then I'll try and use it when I'm investigating to evolve myself to get more research. But yeah, the reason I do it is it's kind of like chasing the dragon in a way. That's probably not a good phrase to use, but it's the only way I think of right now of wanting to know why.
Do you feel that you are missing something, or that the field is missing something in the paranormal that we really haven't tapped into? Because let's face it, okay, we got to be honest here. Paranormal television is some of the highest rated television that we've ever seen. All right, it's usually around the same type of numbers as NFL football, which is absolutely incredible on a television scale for ratings. People eat this up. They lap it up. They absolutely love it, adore the show, whatever it is. But if you look at all of the shows, they're all the same. And this isn't about getting into what show is good or what show is bad, or this one is great and this one is terrible. That's not really where I want to go with this. But I guess what I'm saying in regards to all of this is at what point do we have to start doing something differently that's going to catch people's attention? Because when you and I talked the other day, that's what we kind of talked about in regards to how do we take this to a different level, and is it even possible?
It is possible. Like I was just saying, this field is evolving fast because more and more people are hopping on the paranormal train with all these shows, right? I think the more research you do, the more doors you open to finding out new things that have been happening. Like we'll use Hellier for an example. You love that one, and I've just started watching it. And that Hellier, you can take Ghost Adventures in the left hand and Hellier in the right hand. You've got two completely different type of shows that work. You have Hellier, which is a very documentary what's the word, Dave? Come on. Documentary show.
Documentary style?
Where you have, it's factual, it's not overly exciting, but the content is great. It's a good show, and it's very interesting. Where you have Ghost Adventures, which is flashy, run and gun, evolving tools of the paranormal. So both those shows, in my opinion, are top dog for evolving stuff. You can hate on me for saying that about Ghost Adventures, but they're doing something right.
It's entertaining.
But I guess that's the point.
At the end of the day.
Right. I guess that's the point, Olav, and we'll get Jeff's opinion here in a second. But Olav, you hit the nail on the head as we got about 90 seconds to go here before we got to go to break at the bottom of the hour. It's entertainment. At what point do we start to move this from the entertainment realm into the class that there is something happening and there is something that needs to be addressed? Because as I've stated on the air, and I'm very much on record for it, that's one thing I think Hellier has done is they've made the paranormal push itself to be better, and I think it's been fantastic.
I think you need both, really, because if my philosophy professor called him Joe Sixpack, Sixpack in the 49ers, because I live outside of San Francisco. If what the individual that he called Joe Sixpack, and that's not a derogatory term for anybody, just the term my philosophy professor used, but if that normal person, right, is kind of on the fence, I heard some ghost stories when I was a kid. When they come along and they watch Ghost Adventures, they go, oh, my God, something's happening. Oh, my God, look at them running around going, bro, bro, bro. And it's exciting. And then they walk away from that and they go, well, maybe there's something to this, right? Every person I've ever known, myself included, I watch Ghost Adventures. I like it. You can hate on me for that. But I think it's a blast to watch. But a lot of people, that's their entry point. And they get excited about it. And then
hold your thought right there.
There's a haunted. Okay.
Hold your thought right there. We're going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. I want you to continue that right after the break. Ghosts of the Great White North continues on Spaced Out Radio right after this.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Hello, This is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Hello everyone. This is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines report on the Spaced Out Radio website, and let's figure out what's going on together.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Great to have you here. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The third Wednesday of every month, we have Ghosts of the Great White North. Merle joins us tonight from Haunted Crew of Canada, along with his teammate, Jeff Webster, who's in a balmy minus 38 degrees Celsius, so that's about minus 36 Fahrenheit in Edmonton, Alberta, and all the way from California, Northern California. He's probably wearing shorts right now. Olav Phillips from Paranoia Magazine. Gentlemen, welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, Olav, right before the break, I kind of cut you off there. You were talking about, trying to push the envelope a little further on the paranormal, and do you want to continue on that?
Yeah, well, what I was saying is that things, to mildly repeat myself, things like Ghost Adventures, they're an entry point, and they get people excited about it, and then the people walk away and they say, well, maybe there's a haunted house around here. I heard stories when I was a kid, and then they go, oh, I'm going to go check it out. Maybe I'll see if there's some people having a ghost tour, or there's a ghost hunting group. And, it's a kind of feeder system, I think. So I think you need both. I think you need the Helliers of the world, which are showing hardcore scientific, you could argue, well, it's not. Well, no, I think they're trying as hard as they can to approach it scientifically in a documentary fashion, which I love. I adore the show. But I think you need both. I think you need the shock value of, oh my gosh, there's stuff going on, and then you need to, well, let's actually analyze it. And props to the Ghost Adventures guys. I mean, they're constantly trotting out all kinds of new stuff that, that your common ghost hunter can't afford. Thermal cameras and, that kind of stuff. That stuff's expensive. So your normal ghost hunting group most likely does not have a FLIR thermal camera because they don't want to spend $5,000 on it. The night vision equipment is very expensive too. A pair of goggles is going to cost you $4,000, $5,000. So, they can demonstrate some of these weird things with more expensive equipment, and then it gets the people interested, and then they can go have their own experiences. So I think you need both.
I feel you literally just nailed it all on the head with that. Ghost Adventures is totally an entry point. It's flashy. It's fun. They look good doing it. They have all the evolution of equipment and gear. I have a FLIR, but anyhow.
I wish I had one.
But then, you're right about Hellier. Hellier's kind of like a sit back and go, when you're watching it, I've noticed. And I kind of like that. I was a little hesitant, had my feet dug in a little bit because I'm a stubborn person, as Dave knows, and I've been watching it and I've been enjoying it. And yeah, it's more of the evolved ghost hunter style show.
And they take risks. Some of the things that they're doing in that show are highly risky, and they're taking risks. But at the same time, to the rest of us who can be risk adverse, we can look at that and go, okay, they got away with it. And maybe I want to try some of these things that they're doing because it can be done safely. It can be done in a controlled method. And sometimes, you don't know, and they've done this is their job. So I'm not a ghost hunter by profession. So, they have the time to invest in trying to figure out some of these alternative methods. So I think it's good in that way too.
Jeff, as someone who has been one of the evidence collectors and someone who reviews evidence, I mean, you have a long, tedious job after one investigation. So, I mean, if you have a 4-hour investigation with 4 cameras, 4 sets of audio gear recording, that's literally about 32 hours of work for you just to break down that same 4-hour investigation, let alone we're not even talking photographs just yet. When you look at the way the paranormal is and everybody kind of still doing that same thing, in your mind, what is missing? Where are we as paranormal investigators or as a field in general just dropping the ball?
I think the biggest point is the scientific aspect. I mean, science is based upon repetition. And in the paranormal aspect, you're never going to get that. You're totally right about the amount of hours it takes, but it's exciting to do it at the same aspect. But what I think is missing is the repetition. Like, you can get one thing on one recorder, have a camera sitting in the exact same location, and not get it on that. I can't explain why. I don't know if it's different filters in the microphones or the cameras or what, but I don't understand why repetition is so hard in this field. And I think that's one of the major components of why people find it so skeptical, is because you can't duplicate it. You can't show it 100% of the time.
See, for me, I agree with what you're saying, okay? I totally agree with what you're saying, Jeff. However, I'm wondering where the mysteries are, okay? What happens to the mysteries, the stories? I think evidence is great, okay? I trust me, when Merle and I broke down that tape of him in the draw at the 108 Heritage site, and I showed him, like, there's a shadow person walking right in front of the door. He's like, where? Like, to me, that was exciting. It was fun breaking down, seeing what you got, because normally I don't do that. But there are so many stories out there that need to be told through the lens, through the audio of the paranormal. I guess where I'm more concerned, Jeff, is that we're not telling enough stories. Everybody is going to the same locations, whether it's in Canada, the United States, the same locations, the same buildings to get the same evidence, or different evidence, all right, to confirm or not confirm whether something is haunted. We're not taking it to that next level of where I think we need to be. And that's why I'm so geeked up about Hellier, because they are doing that. And I'm not sure if you've seen Hellier yet or not, Jeff, but if you haven't, I highly suggest you do. All right. Do you think that we're missing the boat on some incredible stories here, that we could be having the ghosts tell us the tales, and yet nobody is reaching out to get them?
Absolutely. Absolutely correct. I mean, you can only investigate places like Penn State so much. I mean, everybody and their dog has done it. What the challenge is finding those small little places that no one's been to, that may not come across as being haunted, but they have a great story to tell, and you might actually catch something. And that's the hard part, is convincing a place that has had no paranormal experience whatsoever that to let you in and actually investigate, to try and tell the story of that place or of something that's happened at that place. And I think that's one of the hardest parts of this, is trying to convince people, owners, curators, stuff like that, to allow you in there, because I feel that the paranormal still gets snubbed quite a bit when you talk about it, and trying to get over that stigmatism is very tough with people that don't have concrete evidence or something in their face to make them believe.
Mike, what's your thoughts?
I would say I agree with Jeff on that. What was I going to say to you about that, Dave? I had something all lined up. Repeat that.
Well, in regards to the fact that, there are so many stories out there that haven't been told because everybody wants to go. Well, let's put it this way. From what I see from a paranormal standpoint, and correct me if I'm wrong, all right, there are groups out there. They all want to hit the same places because they can hear that a place is so awesome. Take your an insane asylum that's closed down or a penitentiary that's closed down, wherever it may be. All right, and everybody wants to hit that because it's the haunting du jour. All right, on the menu, and nobody is trying to go into those small communities that may have a legend of an old miner or an old whatever. Or maybe there was a landslide that killed a bunch of people. Nobody's going there to investigate.
See,
nobody's going that extra mile.
I agree, and I think people should. Like, when I go, I've done this in the past, Jeff can attest to this too. I'll use a town up by you called Likely, where I've been before. It's an old, nobody goes there. It's an old washed-up mining town. And when the team I was with went there, we had contacted the mayor. And we said to the mayor, can we go to these locations? And we got the okay. And we also said, by the way, do you want to, since it's a town of like 50 to 75 people, we're like, do you mind spreading the word, saying we're going to be up here and we'd love to hear local stories from all the older local people. So we took a day, basically, and we recorded with video and audio all these old-timers coming up saying all these weird, creepy ghost stories that they've heard from their grandparents, from their uncles in this little town. And then we took those tools and we tried to go apply them. We used the names, like we tried to talk. I'll use this Bill as an example. Bill, we talked to John, who said that you used to live here and mine your claim. Is this true? So we would take the information that we acquired from people and use it. I don't like going to locations just guns a-blazing. I like to research. I like to find a couple stories. Like, we could use your 108 Mile. We have Agnes versus Willie, right? Those are two different stories, but they're stories. And we go into the location trying to speak to either or. I can't go into, like, there asking if random ghosts are there. I need some evidence or fuel to use when I'm investigating.
Olav, are we too repetitious in the paranormal?
I think we can be, and I think part of the problem is that as a ghost hunter, right, or a ghost enthusiast or whatever, when you go to a place, you want stuff to happen, and so you're more likely to want to go to a place where there's a lot of activity. Like where I live, right? I have a mountain that near my house called Mount Diablo. And on the far side of Mount Diablo, there's a road, and it's a very desolate road. It runs from a place called Livermore up to a place called Brentwood in Oakley. And on that road, repeatedly for decades, people who have been driving intoxicated or high or whatever, inebriated in some capacity, under the influence, when they drive that road, they're pulled over by a spectral police car. Now, if I go out there, right, and I can go to approximately where it happens, if I'm not under the influence, that spectral police car may not appear. But for decades it has. So it's highly risky for me to go out there. Not risky as my life is at risk, but it's risky as I'm going to go out there 10 times and nothing's going to happen. And I think there's a tendency as a human being to want to go somewhere. Like there's a place also close to my house where, it's supposedly a gateway to hell. And it was a meat packing place where they would, kill the cows and process them. And it's highly haunted, super, super duper haunted. So if I go out there, chances of me getting stuff, good or bad, are very high. So as a human being, I want to go there because I want stuff to happen. Where the spectral police car, that would be a very interesting thing to have happen, but it's more unlikely. Like that, we have a spectral locomotive. Well, if I go out by Byron, if I go out to Byron and I go try to find the spectral locomotive, the chances are it's going to take me a large number of times for something to happen. So I have to be really committed, versus there's a place in a town called Clayton near my house where, a girl was shot accidentally during a shootout, and there's a pool of blood that soaks through every rug, every carpet that's ever been put on it for 100 years. And it's highly haunted. I'm going to go there because I know I can take a photo of the blood spot, and I'm going to get EVPs because everybody always does. So, there's different kinds of ghost hunters. There are the people who are willing to go out there night after night, and do experiments, maybe taking somebody who is inebriated out to this road to try to get the spectral police car to show up. But at the same time, that spectral police car has been reported for at least 30 years. So, it's there. It's just getting it to show up can be tricky. So it takes a lot of effort. And
see, that's the kind of story.
Resistant.
That's the kind of story that I think people need to be investigating. All right? Rather than the haunted hotel that has been investigated 25, 30 times in the last 4 months. Merle, what's your thoughts?
That being said, I am going to the Brookdale Lodge on Friday, which has been on Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, and every other show on the face of the earth. I want something to happen.
I agree with him. Out of the box thinking with investigating, right? One of the rules we have, like even you, we don't mix spirit with spirit, right? If someone needs to be tanked when you go to that road to have the police car come, why not try it, right? There's another, there's another road close to where I live, about 45 minutes away in a town called Abbotsford. And the urban legend is if you park there with a female, you will see the spirit of a female appear on the road hitchhiking. This road is in the middle of nowhere. I have driven down it.
Which road? That's my hometown.
I'll look it up on the break, the name of the road. Jeff may remember the name of the road. But when I drove there, I was with a draw, and I had to leave. It was one of the scariest. I thought somebody was going to break the window into the vehicle and kill us. That was the vibe I had. I'm like, nope, time to go. And I'm not one to go. I want to stay. Like, we had all the paranormal gear out. I was actually going to get out of the vehicle and try and do an EVP session or walk around. No one was there. We waited till like 2 a.m. so there'd be no traffic or anything, but it wouldn't matter because you're in the middle of nowhere. But this is a road I want to go back to, and I've been very hesitant to for whatever reason. But like I said, the tale is a male and a female, because I guess back in the day that was a road where people would go make bad decisions and or do drugs. And then there would be the spirit that would come. And then when you would leave, there would be a ghost dog that would walk in the road, and allegedly you would feel yourself running over a dog and you would hear it scream. And then you'd get out, nothing was there. Then you'd see the female again. That I want to find.
I'm just curious what road that is, because born and raised in Abbotsford, I've never heard that legend. Ever.
I will look it up right now.
Yeah, please do. Please do. Jeff, what's your thoughts?
I honestly can't remember the road myself. I was just thinking about doing stuff outside the box is great. Hitting the same repetitive places and doing the same thing over and over again, it gets mundane. I think that a reason why a show like, I'll use Ghost Adventures as an example, works so well is because you draw in the casual, unexperienced person that loves to be scared. And that's just the it's suspenseful. It's a bit scary. They think, well, if they can do it, I mean, what's stopping me from doing it? But other than that, I mean, it's just, I think you really have to be outside of the box thinking on a lot of these places, because like Mike was saying with Likely, when we contacted the mayor literally had to go and have a meeting with their council and ask for permission from the people of the town to allow us to be there. Just so we didn't upset anybody or any people that have family members buried there that don't feel like they want someone there poking around.
Dave, it's called Keeping Road.
Keeping Road. Now I got to look at this.
Yeah, I would also add that that's probably why Gravity Hills are so popular, right? The Gravity Hills being the place where, there's always the story of there was a school bus that crashed and all these kids, passed away as a result of the crash. And if you go out there and you put, flour on the back of the car, they'll push your car up a hill and you'll see the fingerprints. There's a Gravity Hill almost everywhere. And it's an easy way for people to go out and have an adventure. And I think a lot of it for people, is in a more hobbyist sense, is the adventure of it. That's why I think Ghost Adventures is so aptly named. It's the adventure of it, the thrill, getting scared. I mean, I saw an arm appear in front of me, not a body, just an arm. Well, I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of stuff in my life, and that freaked me out pretty hard. But it was a thrill. It was exciting. It's like, oh, there's an arm there. Okay. But, that thrill is, I think, what drives a lot of people to do it. This more scientific element is left to more ghost hunting groups and teams that run around and try to collect evidence and analyze the evidence and really put thought and effort, and empathy into the situation. But a lot of people, but again, it's a feeder system. You have to have the adventure to want to do the science of it, right?
Mike, right by that location, there is a Gravity Hill.
Yeah, right there is. That's kind of odd you say that.
Yes, right at the Ledgeview Golf Course in Abbotsford is Gravity Hill. And then to have this about 3 miles away, that's kind of interesting. Very interesting. Gentlemen, we only got about a minute 45 left before we got to go to break here at the top of the hour. Mike, as we move forward with the paranormal, what do you need to do to change your own game that you want to see yourself do in the future?
What do I need to do? You're asking, right? I need to research more. I need to be less stubborn, more open-minded instead of closed-minded, and get out there a little bit more. Been a little dry lately, investigating-wise.
Blame the draw. Blame the draw. How about you, Jeff? How do you want to change your own game?
Same with Mike. I just want to get out there more. I would like to be able to experience stuff more because I'm not sensitive really to anything. So I'm really the last person out there to ever feel anything.
All right, I'm going to get you to hold on right there. We're going to go to break here at the top of the hour. More Ghosts of the Great White North with Jeff, Merle, and Olav coming up next.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thielen. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Hi, there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour 2 of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. Got a warm studio tonight. Actually put a heater in here to warm it up a little bit. It's only minus 28 Celsius, which is about, I'm going to say minus 16, 17 Fahrenheit, snowing outside SOR headquarters. We welcome back everyone listening in to tonight's show. If you're listening in on WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, KDUNet AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, and KDNF AM 1560 in Dangerfield, Texas. On the digital side, hi to everyone listening in on Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. Great to have you with us. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Tabifaction. Tabifaction is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault. You can grab a great book from We Read the Night. Join the Space Travelers at $5 a month. Great chat going on in there right now. And, of course, Captain Shirk has you all up to date on the SOR Newswire. Ghosts of the Great White North happens the third Wednesday of every month, where Merle from Haunted Crew of Canada joins us. Tonight we're joined by his teammate, Jeff Webster, and from Paranoia Magazine, Mr. Olav Phillips. Gentlemen, welcome back to the show.
Guten Tag.
Merle, I want to start with you on this one, as we're going to continue with the paranormal here for just a little bit here. All right? In regards to what we were talking about late in the last half hour, about investigating places that have never been investigated before or rarely investigated. Is it about just going in there to see if a place is haunted, or is it about chasing down a story and seeing where that story goes? Because there are so many stories of folklore, legends, fable, whatever you want to call it, that are so intriguing, especially in these small towns, that have never been told to the public outside of the community. And yet, they're ripe for the picking for the paranormal, and we're just not getting there. Should we be focusing more on those types of events, or are they even relevant to paranormal tales?
You totally should be focusing on that stuff. That's the stuff I like. I like the uncharted territory. A couple of years back, I that's all I did was go to new locations that nobody's gone to, because it's a clean slate. There's no polluted evidence. There's no hearsay. There's no documented case of paranormal. All these small towns, like again, use up in your area, there's so many different old roadhouse, abandoned roadhouses, hotels, gold rush towns, copper towns, tons of old abandoned mines. If you research it enough, you're going to find stories. Like we can use Likely again. Likely is connected to a town called Quinnell Forks. And back then it was a gold mining area, and there was a lot of death. There were people falling in the rivers. There was murder for people wanting people's gold, like back in the old West days. And you research it, you find names. And you go up there with basically a loaded gun of information to go talk, explore. And you go to this cabin that you see in the photo where in 1872 John Wayne died. So you're going to go to that cabin and you're going to go try and talk to John Wayne. When you were doing your research, you saw that John Wayne died of an illness, but we don't know what kind of illness because it's the 1800s. So you're talking to John, you're asking him what symptoms he had. You're trying to find that story from the other side of what actually happened back then. And I think, for me, that is what I love about investigating the most, is the uncharted stuff, finding all this new information people haven't gone to. All these asylums that people go to weekly, or they have all these paranormal tours, doesn't really interest me anymore, because it's like a mine that's been dug so deep, it's dry. If I was a ghost, and you go to like those Penn State lunatic asylums, and I'd be like, screw off. There's too many people here. So these uncharted places, in my mind, when I go to them, I think if it's haunted or there are ghosts there that can see me, they're going to be like, who's this guy? What does he want? And I think there's more of it. I would like to think there's more of an intrigue from the other side when you go to these less known places.
Jeff, what's your thoughts?
I agree. I like going to places that haven't been investigated. You know, the virgin place, let's say, because you're not going to a place and asking the same old questions. I mean, if I was a spirit and I get asked, what is my name, knock on a wall, you know, the usual questions over and over again, I'd just climb up and go away, personally. So I think there is the intrigue, and I'm hoping, like Mike was saying, that there's the intrigue from the other side of going to a place where they're all of a sudden, who's this guy? Why is he actually talking to me? Like, I've never been approached before since I've been here. So maybe this is my chance to actually reach out, get some questions or some answers off my chest, or something that happened to me, be able to tell someone. So that's what I really think is really cool about places that no one has been to. And like Mike said, I mean, you can go to these normal locations where everybody goes to, you know, certain graveyards, the insane asylums, the jailhouses, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you're wanting that thrill of finding something that no one else has found.
Olav, as you're somebody who tours around, especially in the northern part of Cascadia there, when we finally break off from North America and make our own country. I'm curious, right. You, as someone who likes to investigate and go to all of these little towns with folklore and legends and stories abound,
right?
Are you surprised when you go to a lot of these communities and find that nothing has ever been investigated?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think so, because, you know, the stories abound. I mean, you know, and sometimes it's kind of odd. I went to a old radar base. It's this strange camouflaged World War II radar base on the coast past Humboldt in a place called Klamath. And it's also where the Yurok live. And the the town of Klamath is like the Yurok headquarters. And I stayed in a casino. It was a tribal casino. Had a great deal. When you road trip, you look for the cheapest hotel, right? That's reasonable. I don't want to stay in something that's too dumpy, but you want a good deal. So I stayed there. And I was talking to the lady behind the counter, and she asked why I was up there, and I explained it. And I said, but what's more interesting to me is, all the Shasta stuff. And she starts telling me all about these people called the Wage, which I was familiar with, and the Wagesh. And, so right there at the check-in at the Best Western, I'm having this conversation with a wonderful Yurok woman about these myths of these strange people that lived up on Mount Shasta that you could argue were Lemurians. So, I'm always shocked that nobody bothers to go talk to the Yurok about the potential Lemurians in Shasta, or, you go to these little towns and nobody's ever been there. Nobody has heard these stories, and some of the stories are wild. I mean, I live in a heavily populated area, but it's a little town surrounded by a bunch bigger towns. It has a kind of 1950s kind of feel. And there's a persistent story that our hanging tree, because we're one of the oldest towns in the area, we had a hanging tree. Our hanging tree is at the end of the main street. And when they put in the battery chargers for the numerous Teslas that surround me, apparently the charging units on the corner there where the tree was used like 10 times more power than any other charging station in the general vicinity. And, it's like nobody bothers to go ask the questions. Well, is that really true? Nobody bothers to try to look into the hanging tree, or, and that's here in a heavily populated area. So, I'm always surprised that nobody bothers to ask the question. But I studied cultural anthropology, so I'm obviously very interested in the stories and folklore and myths and things like that. So I'm always shocked.
Do you think that it would mark a resurgence of paranormal? Yes, paranormal, Mike, is at the top of its game right now, but it is slipping a little bit. I mean, that's why we see the rehashing of a couple of older television shows that have been split up and into new television shows now, trying to regain that popularity of paranormal television. But do you think that it's probably because everything has always been the same? It doesn't matter which channel you're on or which episode you're watching. And is it also possible that we need to maybe go on some of these quests, or have these television producers go on some of these quests to see these small town hauntings, to bring out the real stories of communities that are being haunted or being troubled by spirit activity or cryptid activity or UFO activity?
I think the legwork is necessary, and I think being more open-minded is necessary. With modern ways now, people are a lot more liberal with their paranormal stories, be it ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot, all of that stuff. Because we're in a society now where you're going to be accepted with any story you tell. So I do think people, producers or whoever you were saying, they should dig a little more instead of going right to the top of all the popular places. Go to, like, example, this past summer I went to a town called Buncombe in Oregon. I Googled haunted areas or deserted towns in Oregon when I went down to Wolf Creek in Golden. And there was this little town called Buncombe. Researched Buncombe. Apparently it's haunted. So me and the drove 2.5 hours in the middle of nowhere to this little 4-building town. No one there, no cell service, no nothing. And in my head, I'm like, wow, this place would make a really cool, if you're a TV show, episode. No one's been here. No one, like, no TV shows, no nothing, but it's got a huge, rich history of stories. People, miners, townfolk, old sheriffs back in the 1800s. But there it is, just sitting all alone. No one visits it. And yeah, I do think if you want to be fresh and new, you got to go find things like that. And that's what I love doing.
Yeah, there needs to be more of that. Totally needs to be more of that. That's what television is missing, in my opinion. And, there may be people who disagree with that, Jeff, but entertainment factor, it's great for these communities. It brings tourism revenue. Some communities want it, others don't. Because they're still, what about our reputation? What will people think? It's haunted. There's a number of places out there that you can't investigate. The Banff Hotel, probably the most famous. Everybody knows that's haunted, but they don't allow paranormal investigation or teams in there to do it because they don't want the reputation that it might scare off some people who are out there. So that is something that you got to be wary of with a lot of these smaller communities who have great stories to tell.
Oh, that's exactly right. We had, especially with the Banff Hotel, it's all image with them, right? They know the lore, they know what people have seen, but they don't want anything to do with it. They want it, I guess, to be a mystery forever. With that being said, there's a town that is on the way up to your place there in 100 Mile, and we ended up stopping and just walking through an old pioneer graveyard, and we ended up catching an EVP completely out of the blue. We were just messing around with the camera, and we ended up catching something. We reached out to the town to see if we could investigate some of the areas there. And the stigmatism was absolutely not, because we are disrespectful to the dead. Paranormal research is disrespectful to people that have passed away, disrespectful to the people that the families that still live there. It was such a, if I could use the term, it's more of a 1950s, 1960s when people were reporting UFOs. It was like, you're crazy. Why would you ever do that? Why would you ever talk about that? It was that kind of stigmatism. And it's like that to this day. We still aren't allowed there.
Yeah, it's amazing how uptight people can be with that. They just don't want that reputation or that type of stigma going around their community. And I think it's very narrow-minded. It's the same thing in my community here. We get laughed at for doing the ghost tour, but everybody loves it. Everybody wants to be a part of it. Everybody wants to do it. So it's kind of amazing how those two tend to cross sometimes each other's paths, and you just can't do anything about it. You really, really can't. All right, Jeff, what's the strangest thing that's happened to you on an investigation? Tell us a story.
Strangest thing that happened to me. We were at a old theater in Victoria called Langham Court Theater. And it is one of the oldest playhouses in North America, actually. And Mike, myself, and another investigator on our team were up in the costume room. And we were just standing there, just doing our thing in the dark, asking questions. And I literally saw an arm reach out from the costumes and reach across the open area and then just dissipate. And that was probably the most chilling and scariest thing I've ever witnessed in my life, but calming at the same time. Like, okay, there is something here. We need to talk to it. We need to find out why it's here. How did it get here? You really go into investigative mode. With that being said, where the arm had come out, we ended up going over to those costumes that were there hanging up, and they were actual World War I costumes. And looking at them, we couldn't authenticate that they were 100% legit World War I costumes or replicas, but they looked pretty authentic. And we were just mind blown that this happened right in front of us. So that was probably the most compelling thing I've seen paranormal with my own eyes. Audio-wise, I've heard tons of things that I cannot explain. From hellos to full-on sentences to angry spirits usually yelling at Mike to get out or get out of and they swear at him. He's quite a magnet for the paranormal, actually.
Yes, Merle is kind of incredible that way. He is definitely a paranormal magnet. Olav, how about yourself? Strangest story that you have encountered?
I think it was probably that arm. There's a local aerospace museum in a hangar over at the Oakland airport, and around Halloween they do like a Halloween kind of themed night, and it's open cockpit, so you can go climb in the fighters and whatever. But they were like, the building's haunted, so why don't you check it out? So it was a kind of a party theme. You pay, you get dinner, like barbecue, and then you walk around and try to find ghosts. And I had an SB7, and I was hanging out by this gondola, which was the balloon gondola, and I was talking to somebody on that, which is strange enough if you've ever done it. And I was there, and there was a woman there, and she said, I'm sensitive. And my first response is always, okay, I'll take that at face value. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But, sure, I'll bite. Like, all right. She goes, I have a feeling there's something in that room back there. I said, okay. And so we go back to this room, and we're standing there, and out of midair, just suspended in midair, this arm appeared wearing a kind of flannel sleeve rolled up around the cuff. And it was like it was writing something, and then it faded out. And I can't tell you how long it was there, but it faded out. And I went back, and it was quite shocking. And I went and asked the museum director, I'm like, what was in that room? And he said, oh, that was the office for the hangar. And I said, okay, come here. I got questions. So they had this display for this old airline that used to operate out of the airport. And I said, what was here? And he said, well, when we got here, it was still an office, and there was a desk. He's like, why, what did you see? And I said, well, I saw a hand write, and I kind of simulated where the arm was. He goes, yeah, that's where the desk was. And where the writing was would have, at the length of about a pen or a pencil, would have been where the surface of the desk was. So I thought that was quite shocking. I mean, from a ghost point of view, I've seen plenty of other really bizarre stuff, but from a ghost point of view, seeing an arm in midair is, 2 feet from you is pretty bizarre.
I never get the good stuff like that. Ever. Ever.
Gotta go get it.
How about you, Merle?
What is the Kriya? I'll go with Ghost Town up north. This was with a previous team, probably in 2015. Investigator went inside one of the buildings, and he was kind of chirping the spirits a little bit, asking where you people are, make yourself known right now, being pretty aggressive. And then all of a sudden, he started to scream and panic. It was just him and I in there. I'm like, dude, what's going on? And he got out of this building. He's a bigger guy, or was a bigger guy. Quickest run I've ever seen. And then when we were running outside, a smaller photo looked like it got hucked off the wall towards us when we were leaving. But the creepy part was, when we got outside, this was in March, so it would have been probably negative 15 up in that area. And he had giant...
Merle, hold that thought. We got to go to break here at the bottom of the hour here. Merle will finish it off. Then we're going to get into a weird story between Olav Phillips and myself on Ghosts of the Great White North as we continue right after this on Spaced Out Radio.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Finish off your weekend and kick off your new week with me, Everett Thiemer, right here on Spaced Out Sundays. I'm going to bring you great guests, a little bit of snark, and plenty of information to think about. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty of woo as well. We are going to hit everything in the paranormal and supernatural, including the odd psychic Sundays. So tune us in on Sunday, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckard, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there. You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month, and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. Reminder to all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. All right. Ghost of the Great White North continues here as we bring in Merle from Haunted Crew of Canada, the third Wednesday of every month. We get into the weird and the strange. We're joined by Haunted Crew's Jeff Webster, along with Paranoia Magazine's Olav Phillips. Now, Olav, you and I got a little bit of a story to tell, and we got to forewarn people that we're going to tell you exactly what's happened over the last couple of weeks. All right? But you may want to get your tinfoil ready. You may want to turn your woo meter up a little bit, because we're going to woo it up. Yeah, you got to turn the woo meter up here. All right. So
don't need a tinfoil hat. It's not going to help.
I'll start it off here. A couple weeks ago, I get woken up in the middle of the night by Olav Phillips calling me. It was 3:30 in the morning, and I pick up the phone
in the morning.
Yes, it was, but you got to let me tell the story here first.
All right.
And I pick up the phone, and there's nobody there. The phone hangs up, goes click, and then immediately as I start to put my phone back down, my phone rings again. It is Olav. This time, I hear a dial tone. Like somebody's dialing. It goes like this. I got my phone here, so I'm going to turn it up to give you a little bit of a sense of what it sounded like. All right, kind of like this. All right. And then it went click again. And as soon as I heard that, all right, I started getting these weird shapes in my head. Seeing these real bright luminescent colors, things that I have never seen before, and it literally woke me up. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like, what did that tone just do to my brain? Like, I've never experienced anything like this in my life, never been down this road before, heard about it, but never thought it would be one of those things that happens to me. And so I immediately call Olav back, and he hangs up the phone. I call him back again. He hangs up the phone. I'm like, well, talk in the morning. So I send him a message in the morning. I say, hey, what did you need last night? You called me and you hung up on me. So at about 5 o'clock that Sunday afternoon, Olav calls me back. And he says, dude, I never called you. And I'm like, what? Yeah, you did. You called me. He's like, no, I didn't. I have no record of it on my phone. And I'm like, dude, I do. I could show you. So I take a picture, I screenshot the picture of his phone calls, and the phone calls happened at 3:33. Olav, I'll let you take it from here.
So it's important to point out that there were 3 phone calls, 3 at 3:33, not 2, 3. So basically, I had gone to a party and I had gone to sleep, and I was fast asleep. And the next thing I know, I'm getting woken up by a phone call from Dave, and I hung up. I'm like, no, 3:30 in the morning. If it's important, he'll call me back. So I hung up the phone and went back to sleep. As I was going back to sleep, I turned off my phone. I, locked the screen, and then I put it down on the counter next to the bed. And just after I put it down, I put my head back down and I roll over. It dials somebody else. And my phone initiated a FaceTime call to a guy I know named Alan, who I've known for a long time, but I haven't talked to him in years. And he answered the phone, and he, very groggily, because it's 3:30 in the morning on a Sunday morning. And I'm like, oh crap! And I'm just trying to turn it off, and it won't turn off until he hangs up. And so I just went back to sleep, and I said, I don't know what the hell just happened, but I'm going to go back to sleep. And so the next day I get a message from Dave. I call Dave back, and I'm like, no, I didn't call you. I was fast asleep. Trust me. I was more than fast asleep, and I didn't make that call. And that's when the weirdness started. So one of the first things that I figured out very quickly is that at 3:33 in the morning, I called him 3 times. Now, if you follow the numbers on that, depending on how you feel about numerology, that equals a 93. 3 plus 3 plus 3 time, and then 3. That's a 93. The number 93 is very significant because it is a signature of a occultist group. The adepts of that occultist group will use the number 93 as a signature so that it was legitimately sent to them or sent by them. It's also used by other entities as a way to sign something so it's legit. So the minute that happened, I said, okay, there's some weird stuff going on. We better get Greenfield on the phone. So we called Alan Greenfield, and that's when it really started to get strange. So I don't know if you want me to keep going, Dave, or you want to tell the rest of the story.
Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. So one of the things that it turns out, we're talking to Greenfield, and Alan is a wonderful guy and got on the horn with us for quite some time as we went through this. And, he acknowledged that it did have the signature of a 93, which is, again, symbolic of an occult event. And so we're talking, and I said, well, one of the things that it did is that it called a guy named Alan. I'm wondering if there's a connection with Alan Greenfield and the Alan I called. And so, Dave and Alan both were like, well, who is he? And I said, well, he works, he lives, down south. He works for a company that makes a TV show, and the TV show is made in Georgia. That's where Alan Greenfield lives. So there's an instant connection, Alan, and the only Alan that was in my phone at the time, and Georgia, where Alan Greenfield lives. And then the show they produce is made in a little tiny town in Georgia, and it turns out that little tiny town is one of the first locations that Alan Greenfield went when he started his investigations into ufology back in the 50s and the 60s. He had gone to that little town where the TV show just happened to be produced or made. He went there to investigate a contactee experience. So he was very knowledgeable of that town. So, the connection started to line up. I think that's when the people showed up, right?
Yes.
So that's your part.
All right. So here's where the woo gets turned up again. A few weeks previous to this happening, You know, I get weird stuff that happens outside the studio all the time. All right, we've had orbs flying by. I know Derek's on Twitter is going to start putting his Weird Al meme on there or GIF on there now. All right, we've had strange things happen. I mean, hell, we had Carl show up at the window one time, right? So strange things have happened on the show. And so anyways, I got the feeling that I was being watched. And it felt like there was somebody watching me outside. And Megan Gehring, who's been a guest on this show a few times, she's an astral traveler, and she kind of helps me out to make sure that my property is always sealed and protected and everything. And I kept getting this voice in my head. It sounded like it was coming from my headphones that said, "You can't see me. You can't see me." And so I contacted Megan, and I'm like, I think I have someone in my property right now. Could you astral travel over and check it on out? So she goes, sure. Well, she meets up with the woman, and the woman's tried to, like, cloak on her and saying to Megan, "You can't see me. You can't see me." Well, after this incident with Olav happened, that astral traveling woman came back, except she was with a man. And they basically had a message that I do not understand, which is kind of weird. But it's basically, how far you wanting to go? Do you want to come for a ride? Let's see how far we go. Now, I don't understand the occult. I have no recollection of these groups and everything that Olav will drop here. I know nothing. It's so beyond my scope of reality that it's hard for me to fathom. And Olav, I'm going to bring you back in here to kind of explain where these people were from.
Okay, so one thing that's important that we left out is that when Dave started to describe to Alan and I the experience he had with the beeping sounds and the lights that he was seeing when he closed his eyes and the shapes and the symbols, both Alan and I instantly thought, oh my God, that's Valis. And Valis, this is an event that happened to Philip K. Dick, who's a science fiction writer. He said that one day he was standing in his door, or he had gone to the door and answered the door, and there was a woman there, and she was wearing one of the fish symbols, the Jesus fish symbols. And when he saw it, he became entranced by it, and he was bathed in a pinkish purple light, and he started to see these strange colors that he can't describe, colors that don't exist. And he connected to something that he called Valis. And the Valis, he originally believed was a ancient alien satellite in orbit connected to his brain and started to download information into his brain. And he started to upload information into Valis. Over time, he started to believe that this was more like some sort of a galactic consciousness. But throughout the years until he died, he continued to interact with Valis. The scenario that Dave described to Alan and I sounded almost exactly like Valis. That at the same moment, pretty much Alan and I were like, Valis. The interesting thing is that Dave didn't know what Valis was, never read the books. There's a trilogy called the Valis Trilogy. And then there's the Exogenesis, which is where PKD really gets into Valis. Dave was unaware of any of it. He had never heard of it. He did not know what we were talking about. Anyway, so that's very important to this as well. So once she was able to get in contact, there was a man and a woman. And through the description of the man, Alan was able to identify who he was. And who he was I believe he was a French occultist from the turn of the century. And we were able to determine through a series of questions and answers that Megan was very kind to provide, that they were part of a council, and the council sits below something called the Secret Chiefs of the Third Order. And they're kind of enlightened beings, ascended master kind of thing. And that this council was their go-between, that they would take the requests or the interests of the Third Order Secret Chiefs and to translate that so that we could understand it. And from the council, it would go to the people, which is most likely what Terry Rist from the Hellier story. He is acting on the behalf of the Secret Chiefs of the Third Order through this council. And so Dave had the council interacting with Megan, who was interacting with Dave, passing on the information from the Third Order Secret Chiefs. Again, these Ascended Masters. So, poor Dave at this point, he's had what you might call a Valis experience, which is very interesting and exciting. And Dave and I are both receiving messages from the Third Order Secret Chiefs. And basically the message to me was that, at least in part, the theories that I had put forth on Dave's show and talked to some people that I had trusted before were correct. At least their motivation and some of the reasons why that area was chosen was communicated to us through her from them, that I was indeed correct. At least, I was mostly correct. I don't know what part I got wrong, but I was mostly correct. On Dave's side, the message that he received, as he said, was more about, do you want to take a ride? And that's actually what she said. She said they asked, do you want to take a ride? Which I take to be the Art Bell reference of, you want to take a ride on Coast to Coast, which means going down the rabbit hole. So, and they also, if I recall, said that they wanted Dave to speak, to talk about it, to talk about this and other things that will probably happen to him now.
Yeah. So I have no idea where this adventure is going. I have no clue as to what it's about. I know nothing. I am completely blind on this, and I'm just running with it. I am just absolutely running with it. And I can feel, Merle, that you are like totally eye-rolling right now. Totally eye-rolling, probably messaging Jeff saying,
it happened.
This is like way off the deep end right now. I can feel it, Merle.
The only thing I messaged Jeff is I wanted to know what woo meant, but I didn't want to ask it on the radio so I didn't sound stupid. So what does woo mean?
It's everything that is strange and weird.
All right, all right.
Woo!
No. Remember, Dave, we talked 2 hours ago saying I'm more open-minded now, right? So
I know.
This is interesting, though. The Valis thing is very, very rare. I don't know of anybody else who's had that kind of an experience. And I'm here to tell you that at the moment that it happened, when Dave described it to us, it was right out of the book. Quite literally. It was right out of the book.
Have you researched the number?
93?
Yeah.
The number 93, it's very clear. What it is it's a signature that it's used to verify that it basically, in this situation, it was used to verify that we were dealing with the Secret Chiefs. It was meant to tell us who we were dealing with and what the situation was.
And with the phone calls that happened, who do you think was called? How do you think that happened?
I think, well, in talking to Alan Greenfield about it, there are very few things in the world that the universe, time and space, that could actually interact with a physical device in that way. The Third Order Secret Chiefs, or the Secret Chiefs, I'll just call them that. The Secret Chiefs are capable of that kind of interaction with physical devices. So he was fairly convinced, from what I recall. Obviously, I can't speak for Alan, but from what I recall, he was fairly certain that the Secret Chiefs had actually initiated the phone calls. And the fact that it happened at exactly 3:33 and it was done 3 times is a very clear message that they had done it.
So in some, you could be quote unquote the chosen ones for like a new, I don't want to use the word adventure because that for a new outlook or path?
I don't, for myself, I can only speak for myself. I don't think of it in those terms. It's not so much that you're like the chosen one. It's just for whatever their interest is, that they have chosen that I was a conduit for part of this.
Okay.
And to acknowledge and validate at least part of what I theorized was true. Or correct. Not true is not the right word. Correct. For Dave, my suspicion, knowing something about this, is that he was selected to play a role in something larger. And the theory, I have a theory about the Hellier thing, that it's part of a working, which is a series of, it's a master ritual that is made up of a series of rituals. They call them a working. And the Hellier itself is a working, and we are bound to it. Me, through Alan, through the book, through my interests and other things. Dave is actually in Hellier too, his voice, which is interesting because what I recall them expressing to him is that they wanted him specifically to talk, to communicate, and his voice is actually in the show. So I think it's bound to that. So it's not so much it's like you're the golden child, chosen one. It's more like you've been chosen for some reason to play a part in this larger event.
So in a sports term,
you're now bound to it in some capacity.
So in a sports term, he could be getting the call up, so to speak.
It's strange.
Okay.
Well, my phone has no record of the 3 phone calls to him. So
wow.
It's a very weird kind of situation.
That is weird.
Yeah.
It defies logic.
And how do you explain it? There's
the
no
Valis
way
thing
to
is
explain it
as well.
I still don't even know
anybody who's
I don't
ever
even know what a
experienced what Dave's
Valis
experienced.
is, man. I still don't even know what a Valis is. You've explained it to me like about 17 times now.
That's still there?
Still doesn't. It's
Alicia?
not sinking in. No, we're here. We got you. But anyways, we have just about a minute here before we go to break. Jeff, what's your thoughts?
I'm just curious. I wanted to ask you, Dave, so he's talking about, these, I'll use a different term, ascended masters sort of deal, like a spiritual teacher showing up in the form of 333. My question to you is, have you noticed any other numerology with the number 3 since that time of the phone calls in your everyday life? Like you go get a coffee or a coffee to donut or something like that, and it costs you 333 or anything like that. Something to signify that someone's there waiting for you to clue in that a spiritual teacher's there.
I haven't seen anything, dude. Okay, the only number that I continually see is 513. And I'm not a big numerology guy. Don't believe in numerology all that much. I know people who do. I know Olav is very committed to the whole numerology thing. To me, it's never registered with me. But the number 513, what I find ironic about that is I started seeing that after my daughter was born, and she'll be 21 on Friday. My God, where does time go? And her birth weight was 513. Now I see 513 everywhere, right? Which is a 9 if you go by numerology, which is strange. So, no, I really haven't paid attention to that. Gentlemen, we're going to go to break here at the top of the hour. We're going to continue this story. Questions from all of you, from Merle, from Jeff, from Ghosts of the Great White North, and Olav Phillips. We'll be back with more Spaced Out Radio Hour 3 coming up.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Hello, everyone. This is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines report on the Spaced Out Radio website and let's figure out what's going on together.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thiener. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today. we're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
We're underway in the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, KDUN, AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, KDNF AM 1560 in Dangerfield, Texas, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, and in Noonan, Georgia, WQEE 99.1 FM. Hi, Ryan and everybody there. On the digital side, we welcome in Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. Great to have you with us. Don't forget, you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Tabifaction. Tabifaction is your password. Nobody really knows what it means, but the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault, grab a book from We Read the Night. You can join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month, and of course, Captain Shirk has you all up to date on the SOR Newswire. Tonight we're talking with Olav Phillips from Paranoia Magazine, Merle Morin from Haunted Crew of Canada, and his teammate Jeff Webster. Yeah, it's Ghosts of the Great White North. It happens here the third Wednesday of every month. And right before the break, we were telling this weird story that involves Olav and myself. And Olav, there's a question on Twitter coming from Maureen, who is asking the name of the French occultist you mentioned.
You know, I can't remember it right now. I will talk to Alan. I'm talking to Alan tomorrow. So I will get the name for you.
Yeah, you can put it on Twitter at hashtag Space Out Radio.
Alan figured it out super quick. Once the guy was described, Alan was like, I know who this is. And he nailed it. And I think they even confirmed, the guy confirmed through Megan who he was.
It wasn't
that's when
Frater.
things really started moving.
It wasn't the guy from Vancouver.
No.
Frater, whatever his last name is.
No, this was somebody who lived back in the 20s.
All right, I was thinking Frater.
They had passed on from this. No, it wasn't Frater or Cod. This was somebody different, and they had already left this mortal plane. But the one thing I did want to mention is that after a few days after this all happened, I did have a dream where this mountain that I live near called Mount Diablo, that it had erupted volcanically, and the valley that I live in filled up with lava. And interestingly enough, Mount Diablo is a non-volcanic mountain. It's somewhat mysterious how it was formed, but it's not volcanic. And so I called Alan, obviously, because he knows this stuff, and there are things that I don't know or I don't understand. I asked him, and he said that he believes that the dream I had was induced by the by the secret chiefs to symbolize that I was blowing it open, or that the information was being blown open, that the symbolism of the volcano in a non-volcanic mountain is that the information was being revealed or would be revealed. So it's something that keeps moving. And, I think it should be said that you and I had quite a debate on when to talk about this and what to say. And, because these things really did happen. I mean, we have photographic evidence of the phone calls, and there are witnesses to various parts of this. So it really did happen. It's not, we're not making this up. This really did occur.
Yeah, it's strange indeed as you go down this path, because you wait for things to happen and they don't. And you don't know what's going to trigger it. You don't know what's going to make it start or stop or give you answers. And I've never been a dude who believes in the whole download. Yes, I have friends who claim they've had downloads and everything like that. It just sounds like I have a woo. I can go peak woo pretty quick. I could probably go above peak woo to peak woo max, but ultra woo, I don't know if I can go there. Okay, I don't know if I could do ultra woo.
I think it should be pointed out that one of the things that you were told during this by her, obviously relaying the message through, was that the download was incomplete because you were not ready for the rest of it. So I think it is speaking to Valis, the Valis experience you had, I think it is important to point out that it did come up during the conversation with this man who was astrally projecting into your house. That you were told that the download was incomplete. So there is more coming, and I believe that because they specifically mentioned that they wanted you to speak and to talk, I argued very strongly that we should talk about this, because I think it plays into the journey that you're now on, that you had to speak about it in order for you to go to the next phase.
What do you think, Merle?
Has anything else happened to you since the phone call thing?
We've had a few. I mean, during the conversation, there's something that happened to Megan, which I'm not going to get into right now on the air because I don't have her permission to share that. All right. And it was pretty scary, if we could say the least. And, I don't know if I would want that to happen to me. What happened to her? She woke up. I'll say this. She woke up in the morning and turned on her phone, because it was in sleep mode. And there was something on her phone that shouldn't have been there. I will leave it at that. That shouldn't have been there. And
but I think it's significant.
It's hugely significant. Yeah, and literally it made us get a hold of Alan again to try and piece this together, because you have to look for the oddities. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You have to look for the oddities on why these things are all of a sudden occurring. And if you don't, then you get yourself into trouble. And when I say trouble, like Men in Black or something, I don't think are going to show up at your house or along those lines, but you're going to miss the point. And that's the hard part is missing that point as to what is going on, what isn't.
Well, and I think it's also important to point out that with these kinds of things, that if you ignore it, it will chase you. In fact, I was having a conversation with somebody today about that, and he was ignoring obvious signs that were being sent to him, and he just ignored them and said, "Yeah, okay, whatever," and they kept coming and coming and coming. That if you try to ignore it or to push it off to the side, it will chase you. It's like the numbers; they will chase you until you acknowledge them and figure out what they mean. It's like a correction mechanism.
I was going to ask you, Dave, do you feel like, you're waiting for, like you said, a download of information or what have you? Are you worried that you might miss it? That you're concentrating so hard on trying to keep your senses open to everything that you might actually miss what you're supposed to receive?
Good question. If I knew, I would tell you. That's the tough part with everything, right? If I knew, I would tell you. I don't know what, if I missed something, I wouldn't know even if I missed it, because I wouldn't know what I'm looking for.
You need to call Mulder and Scully.
Thanks, Merle.
No, I'm not making fun. It's just like something so much bigger is what I'm saying. It's totally like one of those type of, yeah.
Well, if it's something that you're supposed to see, and let's say you miss it the first time or you didn't receive the message, it will continuously come back, would it not? Like Olav, you're saying your friend there, he's ignoring the symbols or ignoring the information that he's getting, and yet it keeps happening over and over again. So I was kind of wondering, you said it would chase you. So if Dave does miss it by chance, let's say he's enjoying a beer in a hockey game, and something happens, and he's supposed to be paying attention, and he's not, it will replay itself.
Yes.
Okay, that's
in my experience, it will replay itself. Yeah. You can't run. It will find you.
Well, that's what bothers me. That's what bothers me is I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know what the signs are. I don't know if it's a run of good luck. Well, you say you'll know, but how do you really know that you'll know if you don't know what you're looking for?
When you establish connection to Valis, did you know? You didn't know what it was, but you knew something was happening, correct?
I knew something was happening.
Okay, well, you knew. You just didn't know what. You needed help to interpret what you experienced, but you knew that it had happened. You noticed that when you told me that I called you 3 times at 3:33 in the morning, I knew instantly what it was.
You did?
Right.
Because you've been there before.
Yeah. Sure. But it's a growth opportunity. You'll grow because of it.
Could it possibly be a negative experience? And why I'm asking that is like almost like a Final Destination thing. Like, is this something that Dave should be worried about, or is it usually a positive experience?
I think in this scenario, obviously things like this can always be negative. But I think in this scenario, because we were able to identify that it was the secret chiefs through this communication through Megan, that I would say that it's not negative, that it is positive because they're benevolent in nature. But And I think the penultimate objective of this whole thing, this whole larger construct that's working, is to fix something that was broken and left broken. So I would say that it's positive. I mean, Dave has the power to make it negative if he wants to, but I don't think he's going to do that.
I just got permission from Megan to mention this. So what was on her phone? All right. She woke up about a week ago now, Olav? Just over a week ago?
Yeah, about a week ago.
Yeah, about a week ago. She woke up on her phone. Now, Megan is a former Marine, all right, a very proud serving Marine, and she is an astral traveler. So this was on January 7th. So, yeah, about 8 days ago. She sent me a message. She goes, something really strange this morning. When I woke up, the Chrome browser on my phone opened, and on it, and she has no idea how it got there, but this is the day after we all had a conversation with Alan Greenfield, Olav, Megan, and myself. She opens up her phone, unlocks it, and the first thing that pops up are not her apps, but a website to secretservice.gov/join for careers in special agents, uniformed divisional officers, and administrative, professional, and technical positions. Careers built on integrity. Choosing the right career is an important decision. United States Secret Service positions demand integrity, a great work ethic, and teamwork. More than a job, a career with Secret Service offers a one-of-a-kind training, a high level of responsibility, and a future as you continuously apply new skills, making a positive impact in one of the nation's most important federal law enforcement areas. You will join an organization with more than 140 years of experience building highly skilled teams worthy of trust and confidence.
Now,
thank you to Megan for giving me permission to use that.
Yes, thank you very much. Now, if you take that symbolically, right, that it's basically you're joining a secret operation. And all those things they talk about, the integrity, the trust, the teamwork, that's actually literally what we had done the day before. 3 people on the phone trying to help each other figure out what had just happened. And the people that we were dealing with were the secret chiefs and this council that exists below the secret chiefs. So, if you take it symbolically, which you have to with these kinds of events, it's basically telling you, okay, you're joining the team. And these are the things we want out of you, and this is what we're going to get back to you. But it's not 140 years of experience. It's 1,040 years, 10,040 years, whatever. So I think symbolically it was very significant. But you have to look for the symbolism, you can't take any of these things literally. It's all symbolic.
What those symbols mean, I don't know. I mean, but to wake up on your phone and she goes, and I had a conversation. As soon as she sent me that, I didn't even bother texting back. I actually called her and I said, what the hell is this all about, Megan? And she was actually like, nothing really scares Megan. All right. It's her training as a Marine. But she goes, Dave, she goes, I did not search this. I would never search this. I have no interest in doing this or working for the government or the Secret Service or anything. She's like, I don't know how this got on my phone. And
right.
It's scary. It was scary to her in a way because that's not something that Megan would go to. It's not something that she would type in and say, well, I wonder if they're looking for, ex-Marines. Right?
But there's no history. Message.
Yeah, there is no history in regards to her searching that or anything, other keywords along those lines. It just doesn't interest her. Right? Doesn't interest her. And yet there it was. What she woke up to. What do you think of that, Jeff?
And Yeah.
I find it very fascinating. I mean, you're taking a ex-military person and basically throwing them right back in against their will, really. I think that definitely chosen for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I was just looking, actually, while you're talking there, I was looking up the Secret Service logos, and they have a pile of different logos for different divisions of the Secret Service. And I was trying to place maybe one of those symbols that you were talking about in that logo. But I find it very fascinating that she was like, no recollection of anything remotely searching of that, and yet that pops up. It was almost like you said, like, we're watching you. here's your clue, and do what you will with it, but this is going to keep happening to you until you acknowledge it.
Almost like putting a bug in or planting a seed.
Yes, it's like a seed. It's a symbolic seed. Again, you can't take these things literally. It wasn't an invitation to join the Secret Service. It was more like, hey, we're the secret occult service. We expect you to be honest and have integrity and be part of the team here. All those words that were on what he just read, or probably was a message to, this is what we're about, this is what we're after. We're the secret guys trying to make things better. I think that was the message.
Which is also weird, because I was thinking, she would have taken an oath in the military, and a lot of those words would have been in there as well. So it's almost like a double-edged sword. Like it's almost like a reminder. Hey, you've taken this oath. Here's your next steps.
Yeah, you're on a trajectory now.
Yeah,
and that's what I told Dave. I said, you're on a trajectory now. Whether I am or not, I don't know. I was the conduit, and there was a message for me. But the larger message was to Dave about going down the rabbit hole. Are you ready to go down the rabbit hole? And of course, I emphatically urged him to respond yes, but that's just me. That's just me.
Well, of course I'm going to go down the rabbit hole. I got to see where it goes.
Right.
I'm not.
That's why we're on the radio right now.
I may be a little bit freaked out, okay, and wigged out by it. But I mean, you got to go down the rabbit hole. You just can't. You can't turn up or turn down the opportunity for this amount of woo. You just can't.
Cannot.
All right?
Yeah.
Like, I have listeners who would literally kick my tush, all right, if I didn't jump at this amount of woo to solve, to go down this path. Okay?
And
I just would.
And I mean, they're interacting with physical devices. There's very few, we've all gone out ghost hunting and looking for anomalous 14 and stuff. How often do you have something that can literally screw with your phone?
Exactly.
It's extremely bizarre. Yeah. But it's a message.
Normally, we go to prepare for the news at the bottom of the hour here with the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Dave. However, these guys are going to stick around a little bit longer. Yeah, we're going to continue this conversation. And if anybody wants to hear from Maureen Megan, she is in our Spreaker chat room right now, hanging on out, tuning in, saying, yeah, pretty much that was kind of weird. That was kind of freaky what popped up on her phone. Yeah. Ghost of the Great White North happens the third Wednesday of every month as Merle from Haunted Crew of Canada joins us every month because it's all Merle all day, all night long. On Ghost of the Great White North, we're joined by his teammate, Jeff Webster, and from Paranoia Magazine, Mr. Olav Phillips. Yeah, we're having some fun tonight. We're going to continue this right after this on Spaced Out Radio.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you looking for great advertising value for your company? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. We have a multitude of places to get your name out there, including commercial ads during the show, special promotions, and banners on our website. Our audience is proven to support the companies that support our show. We can make your budget work for you. So for more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
Cold drinks, great food, and the best music in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is the place to be, open until 2 a.m. nightly. Everything on the menu starts at just $6.95. Who serves food that cheap anymore? At the Moose, you'll never know who you'll run into. Rock stars, actors, athletes. It's the place everyone wants to be. So join us at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
If you like it hot, real hot, then heat up your meals with Bumblefoot hot sauce.
Get your Bumblefoot hot sauce today. The sauce, Bumblicious, and the 4 million Scoville unit Bumble. We're going in hot, real hot, coming out even hotter.
Keep the milk nearby and tantalize your taste buds tonight.
Bumblefoot hot sauce, available now at kajans.com.
At spacedoutradio.com, we are keeping you up to date on all the news with the SOR Newswire. Captain Shirk leads the team that is bringing you the news of the day and exclusive stories on everything paranormal and supernatural. It's free to read, it's updated daily, and it's right there for you. The SOR Newswire is a one-stop shop for the news of the day. Check it out at spacedoutradio.com today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark, and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thielen. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Hello, Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Hey, Spaced Out Radio fans! It's John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from vans to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. Reminder that if you've missed most of this show or others, you can check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Now, normally at this time, we will run with the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Dave. However, we're having a good time tonight on Ghosts of the Great White North with Merle Morin from Haunted Crew of Canada, his teammate Jeff Webster, and from Paranoia Magazine, Olav Phillips. So we're going to continue the conversation tonight, just see where it goes. Who knows? We may communicate with somebody. I don't know. I really don't. Gentlemen, welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Not a problem. Olav, what happens from here?
I don't know. That's the one thing with stuff like this is that it's a journey, right? It's the hero's journey. You're supposed to get frustrated and have successes and failures and a whole lot of other things. So I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go from here, but I'm very interested to find out. I think you're going to get a lot of info. That's what I think.
So when you say info, for people who do not understand, what do you mean by info?
You know, it's hard to say. I think probably knowledge of mysteries. You know, you're getting into secret school stuff, the meanings of things. You know, the subtext of what's going on. You know, you're going to have in The Wizard of Oz, that the curtain will be pulled back so you can see the wizard, right? That's kind of what happens a lot of times in these kinds of situations. But I mean, ultimately, I don't know. But my suspicion is that you're going to see behind the curtain, and I think that it's going to change how you see the world, right? That you'll have a different perception. Your perceptions of things will change.
Do you feel that with Dave kind of being chosen to accept this and his willingness to actually go down the rabbit hole, as you say, do you feel that once he becomes aware of everything that has been offered, it was going to be offered to him, do you think he is actually ready for it? Or is it going to be so much that he'll kind of refute some of it?
You know, it's hard to say. I mean, Dave's a very open-minded guy. I think as part of the process, I think that he will accept parts of it And I think that he will question parts of it. And I think that he may deny parts of it. But ultimately, he'll find the truth in what he seeks. Right. And he'll find the truth in what they seek to provide him as far as information. But it is a process, and part of the process is to accept, to question, and to deny. And all those are healthy things. I think, even as ghost hunters, right, I guess I'm a ghost hunter, we go into an environment and we experience things, and sometimes it's very hard to accept what you're seeing. I saw an arm appear in midair. It defied all the science that I understand. But I chose to accept it because I witnessed it. So, in any kind of a situation where you're venturing into the unknown or into the fortean, that there are always things that you find troubling or you have problems accepting or that you outright deny. No, I did not just see that. Okay, well, in reflection, yeah, actually I really did. And it's a process. So I think you'll experience all those things at some point or another.
To a lot of people listening, Olav, this sounds so far-fetched. It sounds like a bunch of hullabaloo. It sounds like garbage. It sounds like a sci-fi movie that has... Well, I can't swear on the air, man. It sounds like a lot of made-up stories of sci-fi fantasy that really does not exist in the material world that we live in. For people who are not understanding what is truly going on here or what Valis is or anything like that, how do you break it down to the lowest common denominator so people like myself, where I'm a meathead right now because I can't figure this out, that we can understand what you're saying?
Well, I think at its basis level, the first thing that you have to accept that is absolutely true, and we have evidence of it, is that my phone mysteriously called you at 3:33 in the morning, and then 3 times. That is a physical thing that happened. And once you accept that physically happened, then the need is to understand why. Was my phone hacked? No, I ran scans on it to make sure it wasn't. So okay, well, what has the physical capacity to mess with my phone? Did I do it? No, I was fast asleep, and I can prove that I was fast asleep if I needed to. So you have to kind of go through it layer by layer, and eventually you get to a point where it's like, okay, this is really weird, and I don't really have a good, honest explanation for you. So now I have to look beyond what I accept in the material world to say something else interacted with it. It's kind of like a ghost. You see a ghost and it defies logic, and you say, okay, I just saw a ghost, and now you want to understand why you saw the ghost, how you saw the ghost, and that's how you become a ghost hunter. It's just one of those things that you have to experience and have happen to you. And then it's the search for understanding what exactly happened to you and to rationalize it that is the process. So the lowest common denominator is that 2 different people had their phones messed with, in a way that is very bizarre, and both times produced very interesting results. So we need to seek out what those results mean and why they happened. And that's how you start the journey. Then you just go slow. Does that make sense?
So, well, it does. It does. Mike, do you understand? Jeff, do you understand?
I get what he's saying. Yeah. I get what he's saying. Like, you have to be open to it, and you're going to experience some things that you maybe can't explain, and you have to take it slow. Take it slow, take it in, and understand it. Try to understand it, and don't shy away from it.
The first time you saw Carl, right? What did you think the first time you ever saw Carl?
Well, I crapped my pants, dude. That's true.
Okay, well, you probably crapped your pants when this happened as well. Right? But over time, you started to understand the Carl situation, right? It just takes time.
Very true.
You know, if you called me 5 years ago or 10 or 20 years ago and told me that an alien was standing outside your window, you probably would have thought you were crazy. Do you think you're crazy now? No. Right.
Right.
It's the same kind of thing.
No, absolutely. It's the same kind of thing. Absolutely.
Right.
In
fact, I think Carl's connected. I think that Carl.
Okay, so why do you think Carl is connected? And here's an interesting fact, Mike, Jeff, and audience, that you may not know or may not remember. The last time Carl showed up here on October 27th, 2017, my guest that night was Olav Phillips.
Yes, it was. And you chased him outside.
I did chase him outside. You were on the phone with me after the show.
No, he ran behind your car.
Yeah.
I think Carl is connected. Yeah, it was rather exciting, I got to be honest. I think Carl's connected. I think Carl's connected because I have a belief that I share with Alan that all these things are connected together, whether you're talking about cryptids, ghosts, poltergeists, psychic phenomenon, UFOs. I think they're all connected somehow. And so, you know, you have these events with Carl, and now you're talking to the secret chiefs. One of the other interesting things that is often pointed out is that Crowley himself, I'm not a Crowley person, I'm not a Philemite, but Crowley had contacted an entity he called Lamb. And if you look at Lamb looks very much like a gray alien. And Crowley talked about Lamb being an interdimensional being, or, you know, some sort of a being that was not of here, but the construct of Lamb, the big head and the eyes and all that, he looks very much like a gray alien. But supposedly he wasn't an alien. So, you know, and this happened many moons before all these movies came out and these books and Whitley Strieber and Travis Walton and all these contactees. And, you know, so that happened way before all that. He talked to Lamb, and there are pictures of Lamb that were drawn, and it looks like a gray alien. So I think that there's a connection there. I'm not entirely sure why or what Carl was doing, but I think there is a connection to it.
Merle, what do you think?
My opinion on what's happening to you, I think I have a theory in my head that I'm not going to share right now. I'll share it with you off the air. But I'm going to... I actually wrote it...
Come on.
I can't... I'm not doing that as a cliffhanger, but it's something we've discussed that we can't talk about yet. I think that is going to come into fruition, and I think this little thing that has happened to you is kind of a symbol of what is to come, in the fact of, here's this thing that's been put on your lap that is, it sounds like an X-file, that you're training your brain just to pick apart and investigate. So there's going to be bigger things coming for you, I think, to test your investigative skills and puzzle brain, like putting puzzles together.
That's Merle, everybody. That's Merle for you right there. The man of mystery.
It's about pattern.
Never mind Austin Powers. We got Merle around here.
It's about pattern.
And Mike, you could be exactly right. You absolutely could be exactly right. You know, I really don't know. I don't know what the next sign is. I don't know what the next part of this journey is. Is it a journey? I don't know. It's a little freaky. You don't know whether they're going to show up. You know, I'm looking on Twitter right now because I love the snark that our Twitter crowd at hashtag Spaced Out Radio puts in there. We're giving them a lot of woo. And here is the Desert Clam showing this gif of a little baby girl falling butt first into a wet bucket. And Desert Clam says, and here is Dave diving fully into the bucket of woo. I love it. Love it. But it's true. Maureen, sounds like Dave might become the poster boy of woo if he goes down that rabbit hole. Lulabelle, in the AM, I will not want to look at my phone. Let me know what I miss. Good night, all. And Derek with a classic woo of Ric Flair. Never turn down the woo, Dave. Oh, no. Oh, no. And Marty, well, because we love Marty around here. He's our longtime listener, Vietnam veteran. We love Marty around here. Thanks for serving, Marty. And he says, the SOR gang kicking Dave in the butt if he doesn't pursue the ultra woo. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, we're going down this woo train. We're on the woo train right now. I think we could bring disco back with the woo train. I really do. I really do.
The woo ball.
We totally could. We totally could. You know, the question is, how far will we get? I don't know. I really don't know. But we got to find out. We totally have to find out. That's what it's all about. How do you not? Don't you wish interesting things like this happened instead of beige paint in your place there, Merle?
Yes, I do. This is good. This is good conversation. And you really got my closed-minded brains a little more open thinking about this, especially to what I think it applies to.
All right, Mike, I want to ask you something. And, you know, I don't think I need verification with my audience or anything like that, okay? Because, you know, I'm very open and honest about my experiences with them. And I think that's why they appreciate me and they listen to us, because I'm not about to feed them a bunch of BS. If it happens to me, I'm going to say it. That's just the way we've always done things around here, and that's why I think people like what we do. But as somebody who knows me personally, like you do, okay, and you and I are you know, I have no problem saying you're one of my best friends, and you are somebody who we talk a lot, very privately and candidly, not only about the paranormal, but about what it's like to be fathers and experiences and everything like that, like best friends do. All right? For people who don't know me very well the way you know me, what do you think about, give them a candid answer about what is going on here and the way I am regarding this.
Looking back to when you first moved up there, you moved up there for a reason, and it was more of that's what got you into the paranormal. I think that is chapter 1 of your paranormal experiences closed. Now, you starting your show is chapter 2. Chapter 3 of what just happened with this phone thing, I think, is priming you for a new endeavor. That is my candid answer to what I think is happening to you based on conversations I've had with you about other things, this thing, and tons of other stuff. I think that this phone thing is priming because you're really digging. You're an investigative journalist, like you're good at that. But I think it's priming your brain for a different think process of investigating, to where it's going to have you maybe doing more investigative case files.
Case files.
Case files. I don't know what else to use.
I'm not different a paranormal investigator.
No, I know. That's why I was choosing my words very carefully.
No, I understand that, and I appreciate that. But you, I guess the point that I'm trying to get at here is, you know that I'm not about to make up crap like this. You know, I'm not just not that guy.
Nope. I agree. Straight shooter.
I try, man. I try. The legend of the Woo continues. We've only got about...
Dave,
yeah, Olav, go ahead.
Dave, you know me pretty well. And you know that I'm telling you the truth.
Oh, I know you are.
I have no reason to lie. Doesn't help me at all.
What do you think about what Merle says there?
I think it's true. I think that it's I think this is about perceptions and changing the way you perceive things. So that when you look at an event, it will change the way you see it. You can't, when you do this stuff, whether you're a ghost hunter or you're a UFO hunter or you're a conspiracy dork like me, you can't unsee this stuff. Once you see the patterns, once you see the symbols, once you understand what they mean, you see them around. You can't unsee them. So I think it's changing your perception of the world around you. That's what I think.
So in other words, as we're about to close up shop here pretty darn quick. In other words, what you jerks are saying right now is, Dave, keep the tinfoil close and the cell phone closer because you never know what's going to be ringing on in.
And your K2 meter.
Bingo.
You sickos.
You're about to go for a ride.
Yeah, well, yep. I'll let you know where I go.
Go for a ride, Dave.
I'm trying. I've given them permission. I have given them permission.
And this is part of it. You acknowledged it. You acknowledged that that it happened. So I think that was the critical moment.
Well,
so we will see.
No, let's see where this goes. Because, I'm due a ride. I am so due for a ride. And I'm willing to go there.
Get it.
Ghosts of the Great White North happens the third Wednesday of every month. We thank Merle from Haunted Crew of Canada for coming on in once again. Merle, we're glad you are all healed up from those hellacious burns that you suffered a month ago. And we're glad to have you back here, my friend.
Thank you.
And Jeff Webster, the redheaded wonder, we're glad that you finally popped in for your yearly visitation to us from Haunted Crew of Canada. And Olav Phillips from Paranoia Magazine, thank you for helping me spread the woo with the Spaced Out Radio crowd. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother Is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be, especially those in our chat rooms tonight on LGAB, Revolution Radio, Spreaker, Facebook, the SOR Space Travelers Club on our website, and all the snarkers and snarkettes on Twitter at #SpacedOutRadio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for sharing your night with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Tomorrow night of the show, Timothy Renner joins us. Strange USA is our topic. I hope you enjoy. See you tomorrow night, 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. Good night.